To address the remarks to the chair. Chair recognizes the gentleman from Ohio, Mr. Ryan, for 5 minutes.
Ask unanimous consent to revise consent.
Without objection.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today to thank the National Labor Relations Board for moving in a direction with a recent proposed change that will actually strengthen the workers' abilities a worker's ability in the United States to unite, to work within a system that has more transparency, that is fairer, that is streamlined, so that we can return a little bit more power here in the United States of America to the worker. And representing a district in Northeast Ohio and cities like Akron and Youngstown, and in a region that includes Cleveland and Canton, and not too far from Pittsburgh, we have had a long, proud history in our region of a strong middle class that in many ways was provided by union representation to bring some balance to an economic system, quite frankly, right now, that is run by major global multinational interests that will do whatever is necessary to drive down wages for average workers. And I love this economic theory that we hear many times from our friends on the other side, that if the minimum wage just wasn't so high, if workers just weren't making as much money, that maybe the economy would start humming. Let's reduce taxes on the wealthiest people in the United States when they've had a boom for 20 years of an increase in income. But if we reduce wages for middle-class people, that somehow this economy will just turn right around. And let me remind my friends on the other side, we are currently living under the President Bush tax system. If this tax system of cutting taxes for the wealthiest worked and created jobs, we wouldn't have the problems we have right now. Think about it. We are living under President Bush's tax system. This system in 01 and 03 was supposed to lead to tremendous growth and job creation in the American economy. It hasn't worked. America works when we reinvest back into our people, when we make sure people are trained and educated. And I'm for a reduction in the corporate tax. We do need to keep business taxes low so that we can be more competitive. But when you start making hundreds of millions of dollars and billions of dollars like Warren Buffett and Bill Gates, you've got to pay a little bit more in taxes. And we need that revenue so that we can rebuild our infrastructure in the United States, so that we can make college more affordable in the United States, so that average families in Youngstown, in Niles, can send their kids to college to become engineers. That revenue can be used to make sure that every American has affordable health care, so that no family in the United States has to make a decision or stare at the ceiling when they're laying in bed at night, worrying about whether or not their children will have proper health care, or that if one of their kids gets sick, they may not be able to afford health care. That shouldn't happen in the United States of America. And what the NLRB has done is said, let's give more fairness, more transparency, a more streamlined process so that workers can unite together and have some little bit of leverage against the massive corporate interests. And I've been down here 9 years now in this Congress, and it seems to me that whatever the oil industry wants, they get. Whatever the insurance industry wants, they get. Whatever the multinationals want, they get. And if we don't begin as a country to empower average people to make a good middle-class wage, we are not going to be the America any of us want. We're going to be weaker. You want to talk about family values? These are family values. What the NLRB has done is move us closer to having some family values. So I rise today, Mr. Speaker, to say thank you for the leadership of the NLRB for some of these proposed changes. I hope they continue to move forward. And I hope this is just one small step where we as a country say, you know, if the middle class is working, if we're manufacturing things in the United States, if we work together with a common cause, a common purpose, if we're healthy, if we're educated, everything else will take care of itself. That's the kind of country that this decision is moving us towards, and I'd like to thank them and yield back the balance of my time.
Gentleman's time has expired. The chair